Now, I've done a lot of videos in this series. Something that I haven't done is how to play Strahd. Let's do that, shall we? This is going to be a two-part. One is going to be about the roleplay side of it, and the other is going to be about the mechanical and combat side of it, so that you can kind of get a perspective for both. And I get to stretch out the series as long as possible, because I'm running out of stuff to say for modules. In any case, welcome. I'm going to be talking about Strahd. I haven't done this yet, weirdly. Normally that's the first thing that people do, but no, instead I decided to talk about... What did I talk about? That was like the introduction, but the first main thing I talked about is Rudolf van Richten, which frankly doesn't get as much conversation done about him, so I don't regret it. Strahdy boy is a bastard. There are pages on pages of text about who Strahd is, what he's doing, his goals, and the like. And I'm here today to tell you that there might be even more than what the book tells you, and the book tells you a fuckload. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that one of Strahd's goals is to make one of the party members the new ruler of Barovia if he deems them fit, which he obviously ends up not doing so, but will try and do that. He will try and look for the similar qualities within him in other people. And when he inevitably decides that there is no one better than him, he'll just kill them all anyway. But for now, he's trying to gather information on them. How do you make Strahd gather information on them? Occasionally get messengers or himself to casually talk to him, talk to the party, as if they weren't trying to kill them in any way, antagonize them. Maybe there's Rahadin shows up like disguised or something. That could be pretty funny. Overall, he wants to know more about them. I think that after a few sessions of spending time with the players and their characters and them slowly understanding them, make like a little list, yeah? And you got all the characters on there, all the player characters. List a quality that Strahd sees in them, that he sees in himself, that he would like to nurture, right? So maybe there's this one character who had a loved one die, right? He's like, oh, same, bro, same, and just like he's like, now how do I channel that into hate the way I did? How did I use that to make myself stronger? Because in his mind, that's what he did. How do I make them do that? And then you start thinking of how Strahd is going to make them do that. So maybe consider something like, in a combat encounter that they have with some like creatures, Strahd watches from the sidelines, right? Invisible or something. And then he casts an illusion spell that makes the enemies start echoing the name of their lost loved one, right? And he slowly makes this lost loved one start like appearing in illusions and stuff. Maybe at one point he even does like using his shape changing, becomes them and like has a conversation with them as the person after learning enough about who they were. I think that could be very interesting, frankly. So stuff like that. Find a topic, a element of a character that Strahd would like to exploit, figure out how he's going to do it, and do it. Doing it is the hardest part, frankly. Doing it is the hardest part because sometimes it might go wrong, right? It might, I don't know, the party's like, maybe it's Strahd over there being invisible, and it turns out it was, and it's like, oh, oops, that's totally a possibility. So I'll come up with another example. A party member has a bloodlust. Strahd is going to primarily assault the party with humanoids that are somewhat sympathetic in quality, but are opposing the party, if you know what I mean. Kind of like mercenaries who were like, I've been stuck here for a while, man. Strahd said I could get out if I killed you. I'm so sorry. And see what happens. If they start showing remorse, Strahd's like, oh, well, there goes that one. But if they start ruthlessly trying to kill him anyway, Strahd's like, hey, my guy, my boy, and then keeps doing it and makes it larger, and then slowly contorts humanoids into like a hateful version. Curse of Strahd definitely has a lot of elements about corruption of players, and I think that's one of Strahd's main goals. No party member is going to come into Barovia and exhibit all of the qualities that Strahd wants. He's going to try and engineer them towards that, at least in the early levels. So definitely consider that. In terms of actually meeting Strahd, I did a few different things. Again, when I knew my characters well enough on this list that I made, I put some other stuff. What are his opinions of this person, right? He's been spending enough time overlooking them from Barovia, and he has learned a few traits. What does he like in them? And I think that that's an important thing to note, because that can spur on some more friendly conversation with him. For instance, this character has really, really strong ambition. So did Strahd. He's very proud of that. Another character has immense power and wants to use it to do good. He's like, good on you, good on you. Another one is hot as fuck, and Strahd's like, that's totally a thing that he could do. In the end, I think Strahd can be melded to be able to engage everyone in the party in a decent conversation, because he has enough to him where you could find a relatable quality in each party member. If there isn't, then there's something weird. So I'm going to use my Curse of Strahd stream that I did. We did 5 sessions before they got TPK'd by the 6 vampire spawn in an attic, because they didn't run for some fucking reason. You can go and watch that if you want, just see the train wreck that was. But Zuroth, to start off with, who is a Scourge Aasimar Zealot Barbarian, which is the most scary combo for a Curse of Strahd campaign I've ever heard of in my life, because he was basically nigh invincible. He had the element of his person that was very, stern, had his objectives in mind, and got to them, And Strahd admires that. He's like, he can frickin' progress. He knows what he's doing. He's real going for it. Theodard, admittedly, at the end of the campaign, Jane's mentioned the reason he was so bloody upbeat is because he went mentally insane. And Strahd's like, my guy, I get that. So if they ever had a conversation, they could have definitely talked about that. So there was also Lanatu, which, Tortle Druid shepherd, who likes his bird, likes his animals. I think that of all of the qualities that Lanatu had is, his perseverance, right? Lanatu throughout the entire thing was constantly saying that, I'm old, right? But I can still, function. I can still do things. I can still dance. I can still friggin' do whatever. And Strahd's like, my guy, I'm like 800 or something. Let's do it. Have a more vibe. And then with Trent, I actively decided that Strahd did not like him out of prejudice. Trent, Belfont. If you know what I'm referencing there, that's what the player was. They made a vampire hunter with a whip, alright? Castlevania, fucking. They were a human ranger. And Strahd didn't like it because a vampire hunter. Ah! He's like, oh boy. He deliberately shut out every single good quality that Trent had. Seemed to be quite a family man, definitely convicted about his family and liked his group. Even though Strahd was also a family man at one point. He's a fucking vampire hunter. He ain't gonna like him. So that was kind of the line of thinking I had. Strahd, if they ever had a proper conversation, would ignore Trent completely. Just completely ignore him. And in a combat, would heavily focus him. Because even though Strahd understands in that situation that Zuroth, the Aasimar Scourge Zealot Barbarian, is much more of a danger, he wants to kill Trent because Trent's a vampire hunter. And he doesn't like that, right? So definitely consider a lot of those elements when you're going into it. Those were just some tips on getting you started. I don't want to go into detail about all of his, mannerisms. Maybe he's constantly just like, yes, of course. But then he looks like a little bit of a gay Strahd. No problem with that. He is a bit. In the book, it never states his sexual orientation, so Strahd can go freaking ham on anyone. Even though he only keeps brides, I believe. Like, the book doesn't say he can't like a man. In the book, like, if there's a real sexy ass male party member, Strahd's gonna try and get in on that. You know, he gotta. He was gonna definitely try and tempt Zuroth. That was something that I wanted to try, because he's like 6'8" muscle man. Yes. In any case, thank you for watching. Please make sure to comment. If you have any other video ideas, hit me with them. I am slowly running out. I know of some things that I definitely want to go through. I just remembered that I got a comment about 8 billion years ago about old Bone Grinder that I should probably freaking follow up on. I ask for suggestions and then I don't do them. How fucking dumb am I? Like and subscribe, and also join our Discord so you can keep the discussion going. It's getting more active now. We're having a consistent discussion or two a day now. So yeah, we've got like 50 plus people in there, I think, which is fun. So join us. In any case, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! What's his deal? What's the deal with Strahd? What's the deal with that? Oh, this is off the rails.